My name is Isabel Wheeler, and I'm 30 years old. Have you ever been erased in front of hundreds of people who watched and did nothing? 3 months ago, at my father's retirement dinner, I sat at table 18, the table closest to the kitchen service entrance at the Belmont Hotel. There was no name card waiting for me. 230 guests filled that ballroom. My father stood at the podium and announced he was transferring control of the $6.2 million Wheeler Education Legacy Endowment to my stepbrother Garrett. Then he raised his glass and said, "Only the children who made me proud are truly mine." Everyone clapped. He looked directly at me and said, "You can leave." I stood up slowly. My legs shook, but I stood. Then my husband Daniel stood too. What happened in the next 60 seconds changed everything. The glass in someone's hand hit the floor. Gasps rippled through the ballroom. And my father, the man who built a 35-year legacy at Westbridge University, watched his entire world collapse. This is what really happened that night. But I need to take you back 3 weeks. Because none of this started at that dinner. It started with a text message. It was a Tuesday, 7:42 p.m. I was grading spelling tests at my kitchen table when my phone buzzed. The message was from Victoria, my stepmother. "Isabel, your father's retirement celebration is October 14th, 7 p.m., Belmont Hotel Grand Ballroom. Black tie elegant. He expects family to attend. Victoria, not, please come, not, we'd love to see you, just, he expects." I stared at that message for a full minute. Daniel looked up from his laptop across the table. "What is it?" I turned the phone toward him. He read it, his expression unchanged. "That's Daniel. He doesn't react fast. He thinks first." "Your father didn't text you himself," he said quietly. "No. Victoria sent it." I nodded. That detail bothered me too, though I couldn't say why. My father and I hadn't spoken in 4 months. Not since the last family dinner, when he'd introduced Garrett as the future of the Wheeler name, while I sat 3 seats away, invisible. Daniel set down his laptop. "Do you want to go?" Not should I go. Not what do you think. Just, do you want to? I didn't know how to answer that. "I don't know," I said finally. "Part of me wants to believe this is, I don't know, an olive branch. A chance." Daniel didn't say anything. He just watched me with those steady dark eyes that never judge, never rush. "The other part of me knows better," I continued. "Knows this is just Victoria checking a box, making sure she can say she invited me." "So, which part wins?" he asked. I looked at that text again. Black tie elegant. The Belmont Hotel. That was the venue where Westbridge held all their major galas. This wasn't just a family dinner. This was a spectacle. "I want to go," I said. "Oh, I know I shouldn't, but I want to." Daniel nodded once. "Then we go." That night, I noticed him on a phone call that ran past midnight. His office door was closed, but I could hear the low murmur of his voice, the tone he uses for work. When he came to bed, I asked, "Work stuff?" "Something like that," he said. I should have asked more, but I was too busy trying to convince myself that attending my father's retirement gala wasn't a mistake. Over the next week, I caught Daniel in moments of unusual focus, printing documents at 11 p.m., reviewing spreadsheets with sections highlighted in yellow, taking notes in the small leather notebook he uses for business meetings. One night, I walked past his office and saw a letterhead on his screen, EduBridge Foundation. The name meant nothing to me. "What's that?" I asked from the doorway. He closed the laptop smoothly. "Not guilty, just private. Research." "For what?" "Just want to understand who'll be in that room with you," he said. "Who has power, who doesn't." I thought he was being protective, sweet even, making sure I wouldn't be blindsided. I didn't realize he was preparing for war. Victoria called 4 days before the event. Not texted. Called. That should have been my first warning. "Isabel, darling, just confirming you're coming." Her voice had that smooth, cool quality I'd learned to recognize as danger. Ice wrapped in silk. Yes, Daniel and I will be there. Oh, good. I wasn't sure you'd feel comfortable. It's quite a prestigious crowd. University board members, major donors, the governor's office sent someone, but I'm sure you'll fit in fine. Translation: You won't fit in at all. I'm sure it'll be lovely, I said evenly. Garrett will be sitting at table 3 with your father, of course, right near the podium. Such an important night for him. I waited for her to mention where I'd be sitting. She didn't. Where should Daniel and I? We'll find you a spot, dear, don't worry about that. Just enjoy the evening. The way she said, find you a spot, made my stomach clench. Like I was an afterthought. A variable she hadn't planned for but would accommodate. Victoria, I'd like to know. Oh, I have another call coming in. See you Saturday. Black tie elegant, remember? Photos will be taken. Click. I stood there holding my phone, that familiar feeling settling in my chest. The feeling of being small, of being less than. Daniel found me 10 minutes later still standing in the kitchen. What did she say? Garrett's at table 3. We're somewhere. His jaw tightened, just slightly, just enough that I knew he'd heard what I hadn't said. Do you want me there? He asked. Not as my husband, as my choice. Yes, I said. I need you there. He took my hand. Then I'll be there. That night I heard him on the phone again. This time I pressed my ear to the office door. I need you to confirm he'll be there. Yes, Dr. Brennan, the board chairman. I want to know exactly where he's sitting. No, don't contact Westbridge directly. Go through the Foundation's normal channels. I pulled away before I could hear more. I should have known better, but I went anyway. To understand why that dinner mattered, why I went even knowing I'd be hurt, you need to understand something about my family. I've had 2 mothers. My first mother was Sarah Wheeler. I was 4 when she died, so my memories are fragments, pieces of glass catching light. I remember her reading to me before bed, the smell of lavender in her hair, a laugh that sounded like music. That's what people told me later, and I think I remember it too, but I'm never sure if it's real or if I've convinced myself it is. I have one photograph, just one. Sarah holding me at a playground, both of us laughing at something off camera. She's wearing a yellow sundress. I'm wearing overalls. We're standing in front of an elementary school. My mother was a kindergarten teacher. I didn't know that for years. My father never talked about her. When I found that photo in the attic when I was 12, I asked him about it. Where was this taken? He glanced at it, looked away. I don't remember. It's a school. Was Mom a teacher? That was a long time ago, Isabel. He walked away. The conversation was over. That photograph disappeared from his office 3 months after he remarried. I found it in a box marked donation in the garage. I took it. He never asked where it went. Victoria entered our lives 6 months after my mother's funeral. My father introduced her as someone who will help us heal. I was 4 years old. I asked him, "Is she my new mommy?" "She's going to take care of us," he said. That wasn't an answer. But I was 4. I didn't know the difference yet. Victoria redecorated the house within 2 months. My mother's favorite mug, the one with the chipped handle that said, "World's Best Teacher," ended up in a donation box. The photos of Sarah that had lined the hallway came down. New paint, new furniture, new wife. It was like my mother had never existed. When I was 5, I heard Victoria talking to my father in the kitchen. I was supposed to be napping. "Jonathan, she looks just like Sarah. Every time you see her, you see what you lost. That's not healthy. Garrett is your fresh start." Garrett. The baby growing in Victoria's belly, the child who would be everything I wasn't. "Isabel is my daughter," my father said. Of course she is. I'm just saying, maybe some distance would be good, for all of us. 2 weeks later, my bedroom was moved to the smaller room down the hall. They needed space for the nursery. Garrett was born 1 year after my father remarried. From the moment he came home from the hospital, the house reorganized itself around him. My father, who'd been absent and grief-stricken for a year, suddenly came alive. He held Garrett constantly, took photos, called relatives, smiled. I watched from the hallway, 5 years old, trying to understand why this baby got the version of my father I'd never seen. By the time I was 7, I'd stopped calling him Dad. It felt wrong, like a title reserved for Garrett. I started calling him Dr. Wheeler, the way his students did. He never corrected me. The divide became official when I chose my major in college. I told my father I wanted to study elementary education. I wanted to teach. He was in his office, grading papers. He didn't look up. Elementary education? Yes. That's what you want to do with your degree? Teach small children? Yes. Finally, he looked at me. Sarah would have wanted more for you. The words hit like a slap. He never talked about my mother. Never. And now he was using her to shame me. Mom was a kindergarten teacher, I said quietly. He blinked. What? Before she married you, she taught kindergarten. I found her resume in the attic. His face went blank. That was different. And how? She had other opportunities. She chose teaching because she wanted to give back. You're choosing it because it's easy. It's not easy. Compared to what Garrett's doing, it is. Garrett was pre-law at the time, already talking about Yale, already being groomed for something important. I left my father's office that day and never asked for his approval again. I chose teaching because of Sarah, because of the woman in that yellow sundress standing in front of a school, laughing with her daughter. My father forgot what she did for a living, but I didn't. I stopped being daughter. I became the reminder. The week before the retirement gala, the exclusion became systematic. I met Garrett for coffee 3 days before the event. He'd suggested it, rare for him. Usually we only saw each other at forced family gatherings. We sat in a corner booth at a cafe near campus. He ordered an espresso. I got tea. Small talk felt like work. So, big night Saturday, I said. Yeah, Dad's really excited. He checked his phone, smiled at something on the screen. What's funny? Oh, nothing, just... He tilted the phone away, but not before I saw it. A group chat. The header read, Wheeler Retirement Gala Planning. 47 unread messages. I wasn't in it. Garrett caught me looking and locked his screen quickly. He laughed, awkward, guilty. Oh, that's just boring logistics stuff. Seating charts, catering, you know. I didn't know there was a group chat. Yeah, well, Victoria wanted to keep the planning organized. You know how she is. I did know. Organized meant controlled, and I'd been organized right out of the conversation. What kind of logistics? I asked. Just where people sit, who speaks when, the program. He shifted in his seat. Actually, I saw something about Table 3. Make sure it has the program with the announcement. But I'm sure they've handled all that. The announcement. What announcement? Garrett, what? His phone buzzed. He grabbed it like a lifeline. Sorry, I have to take this. Client call. He was out of the cafe in 30 seconds. I sat there with my tea going cold, staring at the empty chair across from me. They had a group chat. They were planning something, and I was the only family member not invited to know what. That evening, Victoria called. Again. Isabel, I'm so glad I caught you. Just finalizing a few last details. What details? Oh, you know, final head count, dietary restrictions, that sort of thing. Her voice was light, too light. So your husband, Daniel, is it? You know his name, Victoria? A small laugh. Of course, Daniel. What does he do again? Something with computers? Software consulting? How nice. And he's comfortable in formal settings? I only ask because the room will be quite academic. Lots of university people, donors, board members. I want to make sure he won't feel out of place. Translation. I want to make sure you both know you don't belong. Daniel will be fine, I said. I'm sure. It's just, well, your father's colleagues can be a bit intimidating. Very accomplished people. But I'm sure Daniel can hold his own. She was fishing, trying to figure out if Daniel was someone who mattered, someone worth seating well. He'll be fine, I repeated. And you, dear, what will you wear? I hope you have something appropriate. The dress code is quite strict. I have a dress. Black tie elegant isn't the same as just black tie, you understand. There will be photographers. It would be unfortunate if… I have a dress, Victoria. Silence. Then, well, I'm sure you'll both have an educational evening. The way she said educational, like it was a joke I wasn't in on. We hung up. My hands were shaking. Daniel found me on the couch 20 minutes later, staring at nothing. She called again, I said. What did she want? To make sure we know we don't belong. He sat beside me, didn't touch me, just sat there, solid and still. She asked about you 3 times, what you do, if you'd be comfortable, like she was trying to figure out if you matter. Good, he said quietly. I looked at him. Good? Let her underestimate me. Something in his voice made me pause, but before I could ask, he stood. I need to make a call. He went into his office. I heard him talking, low, focused. I caught fragments. Confirm the board structure. Who holds actual power? Dr. Brennan specifically. I didn't ask what he was doing. I should have. 2 days before the gala, Garrett texted me a photo. It was him in a tuxedo, custom-fitted, Tom Ford. The caption, Dad insisted, says I need to look perfect for the big announcement. I stared at that message. Big announcement. I called him immediately. Hey! He sounded cheerful, happy. What announcement? What? You said big announcement. What announcement? Pause. Oh, did I say that? Garrett. I mean, Dad's going to say some stuff. About the future, legacy things. I'm sure he'll explain everything Saturday. What legacy things? Isabel, I really can't. Look, it's Dad's night. He'll handle it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what? I have to go. See you Saturday. He hung up. I looked at the photo again. That tuxedo cost at least $3,000. My father had paid for it, made sure Garrett looked perfect for whatever this announcement was. No one had asked me what I was wearing. No one had offered to help me find something. I wasn't part of the announcement. I was just supposed to show up and smile. That night, Daniel asked me careful questions. Walk me through the guest list. Who's going to be there? I don't know. University people, board members, donors, I guess. Who holds actual power in that room? I thought about it. Dr. Howard Brennan. He's the foundation board chairman. He controls a lot of the university's funding partnerships. Daniel made a note in his leather notebook. Will he be there? Probably. He and my father have worked together for years. Anyone from the governor's office? Victoria mentioned someone. Why? Just want to know who we're walking into. He asked about the venue, the seating arrangements, how the program would work. I answered what I could, but mostly I didn't know. I'd been excluded from the planning, remember? When he finished his questions, he looked at me for a long moment. Isabel. Yeah? Do you want me there? I already said yes. No. I mean, do you want me there in the room, or do you want me there with you? There's a difference. I didn't understand the question. What do you mean? I mean if something happens Saturday night, if they hurt you. Do you want me to stay quiet, or do you want me to handle it? My throat tightened. I don't want to cause a scene. That's not what I asked. I looked at this man I'd married 3 years ago. This quiet, steady man who never raised his voice, never made demands, never needed to prove anything. I don't like bullies, he said softly. And I don't like watching people I love get hurt. I can handle my family. I know you can. But you don't have to. Not alone. Something in his voice made me believe him. Okay, I said. Okay, what? If something happens, handle it. He nodded once. Then he asked me one more question. Do you trust me? No matter what happens Saturday night, do you trust me? Yes. Good. Because I need you to remember that. No matter what you see, no matter what I do, trust me. I should have been worried. Should have asked what he was planning. But all I felt was relief. I wasn't going to be alone in that ballroom. Saturday arrived. We drove to the Belmont Hotel in silence. The valet took our car. We walked toward the entrance, and that's when I saw it. A red carpet. Actual red carpet leading to the hotel entrance. Photographers. A step-and-repeat banner that read, Celebrating Dr. Jonathan Wheeler, 35 years of excellence. This wasn't a retirement dinner. This was a coronation. A photographer stopped us at the entrance. Names, please? Isabel Wheeler, I said. He scanned his clipboard, frowned, scanned again. I don't see you on the VIP list. Are you on the general guest list? Heat crept up my neck. Behind us, people were waiting, watching. I'm his daughter. Oh, okay, let me just... He flipped to the back page, found my name handwritten at the bottom. There you are. Isabel Wheeler, general seating. Not VIP. General seating. My father's daughter was general seating at his retirement gala. The photographer gestured us through without taking our photo. Those were for VIPs only, apparently. Daniel's jaw tightened. I felt his hand on my lower back. Steady, grounding. Keep walking, he murmured. We walked. Inside the lobby, a massive seating chart stood on an easel. 4 feet tall, fancy calligraphy, gold leaf borders. Tables 1 through 8 were labeled University Board/Distinguished Guests. I scanned down, past the chancellors, past the donors, past the department heads. Table 18. My name was at table 18. It wasn't even on the main chart. Someone had added it in different handwriting at the bottom corner, like an afterthought. Table 18? A woman beside me laughed. Oh, honey, that's all the way in the back, near the kitchen. Are you someone's assistant? No, I said quietly. I'm the daughter. Her smile faltered. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize he had another child, I finished. Most people don't. She walked away quickly, embarrassed. Daniel read the chart, his expression unreadable. Then he took my hand, not gently but firmly, like he was anchoring me. Let's go, he said. To get to table 18, we had to walk through the entire ballroom, past table 1, where Dr. Brennan sat with the university's board of trustees, past table 2, filled with major donors I recognized from foundation events, past table 3, my father, Victoria, Garrett. They saw us, all 3 of them. My father's eyes met mine for half a second, then slid away. Victoria smiled, that cool, satisfied smile. Garrett looked uncomfortable but didn't acknowledge us. Around us, people whispered. That's his daughter from the first marriage. I didn't know he had another child. Poor thing, probably here out of obligation. 230 people, 85% already seated, crystal chandeliers throwing light like judgment, a 12-piece orchestra playing something classical and impersonal. It took 90 seconds to walk from the entrance to table 18. It felt like an hour. Table 18 was exactly where the woman said, next to the kitchen service doors. No centerpiece, no candles. folding chairs instead of the elegant Chiavari chairs that filled the VIP section. Every other seat at the table had a name card: caterers' relatives, university administrative assistants, a maintenance supervisor's wife. My seat had nothing. A waiter approached, looking confused. "Ma'am, this table is supposed to be overflow seating for staff families. Are you? Did someone make a mistake?" "No," I said. "No mistake." I sat in the chair with no name. Daniel sat beside me. The waiter hovered. "Should I? Do you need a name card? I can print one." "It's fine," I said. It wasn't fine. But what was I supposed to say? That my father's event planner, his wife, had deliberately left me off the seating chart? That I was sitting with the catering staff while my stepbrother sat 10 feet from the podium? The waiter left. The kitchen doors kept swinging open and closed behind us, bringing bursts of heat and noise and the smell of plated dinners. Daniel leaned close. His voice was low, meant only for me. "I need you to trust me tonight, no matter what happens." I turned to look at him. His face was calm, but his eyes, there was something there, something coiled and ready. "What are you going to do?" "Whatever I have to." Before I could ask more, the lights dimmed. The program was starting. Dr. Howard Brennan walked to the podium. He was 70, silver-haired, the kind of man whose presence commanded silence. The room settled immediately. "Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate an extraordinary career." Applause, polite, warm. Dr. Jonathan Wheeler has spent 35 years shaping minds, building programs, and creating partnerships that will outlive all of us. Brennan smiled. His work has brought in over $18 million in education funding, connecting Westbridge University to some of the most innovative philanthropic organizations in the country. More applause. I watched my father at table 3, accepting the praise with practiced humility. "One partnership in particular," Brennan continued, "has been transformative. The EduBridge Foundation has been our most valued collaborator for the past 6 years." I felt Daniel shift slightly beside me. EduBridge. That was the letterhead I'd seen on his laptop. Brennan went on. "Tonight isn't just about honoring the past. It's about securing the future. And I can't wait to hear what Dr. Wheeler has planned." He stepped aside. My father stood. The room erupted in applause, a standing ovation before he'd even spoken. I stayed seated. My father waited for the noise to die down. He scanned the room, his eyes passing over table 18 without stopping. "Thank you, Howard. Thank you all." His voice was strong, confident, presidential. 35 years ago, I walked into my first classroom with a belief that education isn't just about knowledge, it's about legacy. He let that word hang in the air. Legacy is what we leave behind, the standards we set, the values we pass down. The question every educator, every parent, must ask is, what will survive us? Around me, people nodded. I heard murmurs of agreement. I've spent my career teaching that excellence isn't negotiable. That legacy is built through achievement, not participation. Not everyone gets a trophy. Not everyone earns a place at the table. His eyes swept the room again, still didn't land on me. And nothing makes a father prouder than seeing his child embrace those same values. The camera operator turned toward table 3. The screen behind the podium lit up with a photo. Garrett in his Yale Law graduation gown, my father beside him, both smiling. My throat tightened. "My son Garrett," my father said, and his voice warmed in a way I'd never heard directed at me. "Graduated in the top 15% of his Yale Law class. He passed the bar exam on his first attempt. He represents the kind of future I always dreamed of building." The screen cycled through photos. Garrett and my father at Yale. Garrett in a suit at his law firm. Garrett receiving some award I'd never heard about. Not a single photo included me. I realized, sitting there at table 18, that he'd curated this montage specifically. He'd gone through years of family photos and selected only the ones where I didn't exist. That wasn't accidental. That was intentional erasure. Building a legacy, my father continued, means making hard choices. It means recognizing that not every path leads to the same destination. Some children understand the weight of legacy. They rise to meet it. He paused. Others choose simpler lives, and that's their choice. But legacy demands more. I felt every eye in the room on me. Not literally, most people didn't even know where I was sitting, but I felt it anyway. The judgment, the pity. Isabel Wheeler, elementary school teacher, $52,000 a year, 8 years teaching third graders in an underfunded public school. Simple. At table 3, Victoria smiled. That cool, satisfied smile. This speech wasn't improvised. It was rehearsed, coordinated, designed to put me in my place while elevating Garrett. My father had planned this. He never once looked at me. Not once. My father's tone shifted, became more formal, ceremonial. Which brings me to the real purpose of tonight's gathering. The room leaned forward. This was it. The announcement Garrett had mentioned. For the past 2 years, I've been working with the Westbridge University Foundation to establish something permanent, something that will carry my values forward long after I'm gone. A slide appeared on the screen, the Wheeler Education Legacy Endowment. Tonight, I'm proud to announce the formal establishment of this fund, $6.2 million dedicated to supporting future scholars who embody the principles of academic excellence and leadership. Applause. Loud, sustained. People actually stood. $6.2 million. I did the math automatically. Teacher's habit. That could fund full scholarships for 500 students annually. It was a fortune, a genuine legacy, and I hadn't known it existed. This endowment, my father continued when the applause died, will be managed by a board of trustees who understand its mission, people who share my commitment to excellence. The slide changed. Board of Trustees. Names appeared. Dr. Brennan, 3 other university administrators, and Garrett Wheeler. I'm appointing my son Garrett to the board, effective immediately. He'll bring fresh perspective and deep understanding of what it takes to build a lasting legacy in education. Garrett stood, smiled, accepted handshakes from the people at table 3. Cameras flashed. He'd known. That's what the Tom Ford tuxedo was for. The big announcement. He'd known for weeks, and no one had told me. Garrett understands that this endowment isn't charity, my father said. It's an investment in the kind of students who will shape our future. Students who are willing to work, to sacrifice, to meet the standards that matter. More applause. Garrett looked proud. Victoria looked triumphant. My father looked satisfied. This fund will be managed by those who truly understand its purpose, he said. The emphasis on truly was slight but deliberate. My father raised his champagne glass. So here's to the future. Here's to the children who made me proud, who earned their place at this table. People around the room lifted their glasses. Because let me be clear, he paused. The room went silent. Only the children who made me proud are truly mine. For a second, I thought I'd misheard. Then the room erupted, standing ovation, champagne glasses raised. The orchestra played a flourish, 230 people celebrating a father declaring his love conditional, transactional, earned. Only the children who made me proud are truly mine. I sat at table 18, hands folded in my lap, watching my father erase me in front of everyone who'd ever mattered in his professional life. The applause began to fade. People sat, glasses clinked, the energy in the room was euphoric. Then my father's eyes landed on table 18. For the first time all night, he looked directly at me. The microphone was still on. His voice carried, "Isabel." Every head in the ballroom turned. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. "You can leave." 4 syllables, delivered with the same polite, professional tone he'd used for his entire speech. "You can leave." Not, "I'm sorry you're not included." Not, "I wish things were different." Just, "You can leave." The ballroom went silent, completely silent, the kind of silence that has weight. 230 pairs of eyes turned to table 18, to me. I heard the kitchen doors stop swinging. Even the staff had frozen. My hands were shaking. I wanted to scream. I wanted to ask why. I wanted to stand up and list every single thing I'd done to try to earn his love. Every A, every award, every year of teaching kids he'd never met in a school he'd never visited. But I didn't. I just stood, slowly, with as much dignity as I could gather. The folding chair scraped against the floor. The sound echoed. I didn't cry, didn't speak, just stood there, holding myself together by force of will alone. Someone's champagne glass trembled. I heard it clink against a table. Then Daniel stood too. And the entire energy in the room shifted. Daniel didn't grab my hand, didn't pull me close or whisper comfort. He just stood beside me, facing the podium, his voice cutting through the silence like a blade. Dr. Wheeler, before anyone leaves, I think we need to have a conversation. His voice was calm, measured, but it carried. The ballroom acoustics made sure everyone heard. My father blinked. Confusion crossed his face, then irritation. I'm sorry. Who are you? My name is Daniel Chen. I'm Isabel's husband. He started walking. From table 18 toward the podium, 23 deliberate steps. And I think, Daniel continued, his tone still perfectly even, there's been a significant misunderstanding about this endowment. My father moved to block the podium steps. This is a private family event. Daniel pulled out his phone mid-stride. Actually, it's not. He reached the podium. My father stood in his way, but Daniel didn't stop. He just looked at him, calm, unshakable, until my father actually stepped back. Every eye in the ballroom was on Daniel now. He climbed the 3 steps to the podium, stood beside my father, turned to face the crowd. Dr. Brennan, he said, addressing the board chairman at table 1. You might want to see this. It's an email I was planning to send Monday morning, but given tonight's announcement, I think we should discuss it now. Dr. Brennan stood slowly. His expression was cautious, concerned. He walked toward the podium. Victoria hissed something at my father from table 3. I couldn't hear the words, but I saw her face. Panic. Daniel held up his phone, screen facing Brennan. This is a draft email, Daniel said. Subject line, Notice of Material Breach, Westbridge University Partnership Agreement. My father's face went pale. Brennan took the phone, read. His expression changed, shock, then something harder. He looked at my father, then at Daniel. Jonathan, Brennan said quietly, we need to talk, now. I don't know what he's talking about, my father said. His voice had lost that presidential confidence. Howard, this is inappropriate. This is my retirement. Dr. Wheeler, Daniel interrupted, his tone still perfectly calm. Do you know where Westbridge University's education partnerships are funded? My father blinked. Multiple sources. Grants, donors, various. Name the largest one. Silence. My father looked at Victoria, looked at Brennan, didn't answer. Daniel answered for him. EduBridge Foundation, $18 million over the last 6 years. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Phones came out. People started recording. We provide 40% of your scholarship funding, Dr. Wheeler, including the infrastructure that made this endowment possible. My father opened his mouth, closed it. And as CEO and founder of EduBridge, Daniel continued, I have some concerns about the appointment you just announced. The room exploded, not with applause, with shock. Whispers that became a roar. Isabel's husband, the quiet man at table 18, CEO of a $120 million foundation. I watched my father's face drain of color. Daniel waited for the noise to settle. He didn't raise his voice, didn't have to. For those who don't know me, I'm Daniel Chen, CEO and founder of EduBridge Foundation. We're a nonprofit organization dedicated to closing opportunity gaps in underserved communities. We manage approximately $120 million in education funding and work with over 200 partner universities. Dr. Brennan had gone very still. He knew Edubridge. He knew exactly what Daniel was about to do. Westbridge has been one of our most valued partners, Daniel said. Until tonight. He addressed the room like he was giving a board presentation. Calm, factual, devastating. Since 2018, EduBridge has provided $18 million to Westbridge University. That funding supports 40% of your scholarship programs. It funds research grants, teaching fellowships, and yes, it helped establish the infrastructure for the endowment Dr. Wheeler just announced. He turned to my father. Your legacy, Dr. Wheeler, is built in part on EduBridge funding. You didn't create this alone. My father's jaw tightened. That's an oversimplification. The endowment comes from multiple. I'm not finished. The authority in Daniel's voice shut my father down mid-sentence. Daniel turned to Garrett. Congratulations on your appointment, Garrett. Let's talk about whether you're actually qualified for it. Garrett's face went red. Victoria started to stand, but Daniel held up a hand. Garrett Wheeler, Yale Law School graduate, impressive, 6 months as a junior associate at Blackstone and Reed, corporate law track, 0 years of experience in education, 0 publications, 0 classroom hours, 0 community service in underserved populations. Each 0 landed like a hammer. Is that correct? Garrett stammered. I have a legal background. The board needs people who understand education, Daniel said. So let's compare. He turned toward table 18, toward me. Isabel Wheeler, 8 years teaching 3rd grade at Riverside Elementary School. Title I school serving 85% low-income students. Over 200 classroom hours annually. Written and secured grants totaling $150,000 in resources for her students. My throat closed. She works with children who come to school hungry, who don't have books at home, who need someone to believe in them when nobody else does. I couldn't breathe. She makes $52,000 a year. She could have gone into administration, made more money, had more prestige, but she stays in that classroom because she believes the work matters. Daniel's voice was steady, not emotional, just factual. So let me understand, Dr. Wheeler. Your measure of making you proud excludes the person in this room who actually works in the field this endowment claims to serve. People around the room started nodding. I heard whispers of agreement. He's right. Why isn't she on the board? This doesn't make sense. My father tried to speak. Daniel, this is a family matter. We can discuss. It stopped being a family matter when you made it public, Daniel said. You stood at that podium and told 230 people that only the children who made you proud are truly yours. You told your daughter to leave, in front of everyone. His voice hardened slightly, just slightly. And you did it while appointing someone who doesn't meet the basic qualifications for the position. Garrett looked like he wanted to disappear. Victoria was whispering furiously to my father. Daniel pulled his phone back out. But here's the real problem, Dr. Wheeler. There's a legal issue we need to address. Daniel swiped his phone. The screen behind the podium, still connected to the AV system, lit up. An email. Official letterhead. EduBridge Foundation. When EduBridge enters partnerships, Daniel said, we have strict ethical guidelines. Dr. Brennan is familiar with these. He signed our 2023 renewal agreement. Brennan nodded slowly. His face showed he knew exactly where this was going. These guidelines exist to ensure our funding serves its intended purpose, supporting students from underserved communities, not building dynasties, not rewarding nepotism. Daniel read from the screen. His voice was precise, legal, every word measured. Clause 8. 4. Any board appointments, trustee positions, or leadership roles funded in whole or in part by EduBridge Foundation grants must prioritize candidates with minimum 5 years active field experience in classroom teaching, direct service, or community education programs serving underserved populations. He let that sink in. 5 years, active field experience, underserved populations. He looked at Garrett. You have 0. Then at me. Isabel has 8. The room was silent. My father finally found his voice. "That's The endowment isn't entirely funded by EduBridge. We have other donors. This clause doesn't—" Daniel cut him off by reading the next section. Clause 12.3. Appointments made in violation of Section 8.4 constitute material breach of partnership agreement. EduBridge Foundation reserves the right to immediate fund withdrawal and reassessment of all active grants. He turned to Brennan. All active grants, Dr. Brennan. That includes the 3 ongoing scholarship programs, the teaching fellowships, the research funding, $18 million. At risk. Because of one appointment. Brennan's face had gone from concern to grim. "Jonathan. My office. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Daniel addressed the room. Not my father. The room. In this ballroom right now, there is exactly one person who meets Clause 8.4 requirements. He gestured to Table 18. To me. Isabel Wheeler, 8 years of active classroom teaching in a Title I school. That's not an opinion. That's contract law. People turned to look at me. Not with pity this time. With something else. Recognition. Respect. Daniel's voice softened, just slightly. And you just told her to leave. Garrett's champagne glass trembled in his hand, spilled on his $3,000 tuxedo. "I didn't know," he said, voice shaking. "Dad, you said, I didn't know about any clause." Victoria cut him off. "Garrett, don't say anything." But it was too late. The room had heard. My father looked at Brennan, desperately. Brennan's face was stone. "My office, tomorrow, 8 a.m. Bring your lawyer." Daniel pulled his attention back to the screen. "This email was scheduled to send Monday at 9 a.m. Subject line you've already seen. It's CC'd to all 14 members of the EduBridge Board and all 12 members of the Westbridge University Board of Trustees." The email header was visible on screen. The CC list scrolled, names everyone in that room recognized. "But given tonight's public announcement," Daniel said, "I'm moving up the timeline." His thumb hovered over his phone, over the send button. "Unless this appointment is rescinded, publicly, right now." My father found his voice, louder this time, defensive. "This is inappropriate. You're making a scene at a private— You made it public when you humiliated your daughter in front of 230 witnesses," Daniel said. His voice never rose. "Didn't need to." Victoria tried a different approach, smooth, diplomatic. "Surely we can resolve this professionally, Mr. Chen. There's no need for—" "I am being professional," Daniel said. "I'm asking you to follow your own contract." He looked at Brennan. "Dr. Brennan, this is your call. Do we rescind the appointment now, or do I send this email and we deal with the legal consequences?" Brennan stepped forward. He'd been in academia for 40 years. He knew when a battle was lost. "Jonathan, stop talking." My father opened his mouth. Brennan held up a hand. "Mr. Chen, what exactly are you asking for?" Daniel's answer was immediate, specific. 3 things. 1. Rescind Garrett's appointment. 2. Issue a public statement acknowledging Isabel's qualifications and contributions to education. 3. Stay out of her life unless she invites you back in. Brennan looked at my father. "Can you do that?" My father's face was red. "Howard, this is my family. This is $18 million in the university's reputation," Brennan said flatly. "Can you do it or not?" Around the room, phones were everywhere. At least 30 people recording. Someone's screen showed a live stream notification. Whispers became conversations. "Is someone recording this? Oh my God, this is insane." He's absolutely right, though. Wheeler just destroyed his own legacy. That daughter, she's been teaching for 8 years, and he kicked her out? I watched it happen in real time. The narrative shifting. People who'd applauded my father's speech now looking at him differently. Someone at table 6 actually stood and walked out. Then someone else. Then 3 more people from table 9. Victoria saw the phones. Grabbed Garrett's arm. "We need to leave, now." But it was too late. The live stream counter was climbing. Someone called out, "It's already at 20,000 viewers." 20,000 people watching my father's retirement gala become his public execution. My father tried to regain control, gestured to the AV tech. "Cut the screens, turn off the—" But the screens stayed on. The tech looked at Brennan, not my father. Brennan shook his head slightly. "Ladies and gentlemen," my father said, voice strained. "There's been a misunderstanding. If we could all just—" Someone from the back of the room yelled, "There's no misunderstanding. You just disowned your daughter." Scattered applause. Actual applause. For that heckler. My father's face went from red to pale. The orchestra had stopped playing. The waitstaff stood frozen in the doorways. The hotel manager approached Brennan. "Sir, do you want us to clear the room?" Brennan looked at my father. At Daniel. At the phones recording everything. "No," he said quietly. "Let them see." Victoria stood, pulling Garrett with her. She was trying for dignified, but the crowd parted awkwardly, making the exit more conspicuous. "Excuse us," she said, fake smile in place. "Garrett isn't feeling well." Garrett's face was pale, sweating through his Tom Ford tuxedo. He wouldn't look at anyone. They headed for the main exit, not the service entrance I'd used. Cameras followed them, phone lights, flash photography. As they passed table 7, someone called out, "Hey Garrett, how's that Yale degree working out?" Laughter. Actual mocking laughter. Garrett flinched. Victoria's smile cracked, but they kept walking. The doors closed behind them. They were gone. Someone held up their phone, showing the screen to their table. I could see it from table 18, the live stream counter climbing. 127,000 viewers. The comments were flooding in too fast to read, but I caught fragments. "This is insane. Dad of the year right there. Who's the husband? Absolute legend. I would pay to see the dad's face run." A woman from the university PR office saw the live stream. Her face went white. She started making frantic calls, walking toward the exit with her phone pressed to her ear. Too late. This wasn't going to be contained. By midnight, the clip would have 2.3 million views. But I didn't know that yet. My father stood alone at the podium. People at table 3, his supposed allies, wouldn't make eye contact. Board members at table 1 were whispering to each other. One of them said loud enough to carry, "Did you know about the EduBridge clause?" "No, did you?" "If we lose that 18 million, 3 programs shut down immediately." They weren't worried about my father. They were worried about the money. People were leaving now. Not everyone. But enough. The exodus was slow but steady. My father's 35-year legacy crumbling in real time. Brennan approached him. Voice low but firm enough that I could hear from table 18. "My office. Tomorrow morning. 8 a.m. Bring your lawyer. And Jonathan, don't make this worse. Rescind the appointment tonight. Issue a statement. Do it before the university has to." My father didn't answer. Just stood there, diminished, while his retirement gala became his professional funeral. I stood from table 18, smoothed my dress, took one breath. Then I walked, not toward the exit, toward the podium, toward Daniel. My heels clicked on the marble floor. Every person in that ballroom was watching. No one spoke. I didn't run, didn't hide, just walked with my head up, my shoulders back, like I had every right to be there. Because I did. I reached the podium. Daniel offered his arm, not his hand. More formal, more dignified. I took it. We turned together and walked toward the exit, through the center aisle. Not the service entrance route I'd used to get to table 18, the main aisle, the one reserved for important people. We passed table 3. Empty now. Victoria and Garrett gone. We passed my father. He opened his mouth like he wanted to say something. I didn't stop. Didn't look at him. He'd said everything that mattered when he told me to leave. When we were halfway to the exit, I heard it. Clapping. Not from everyone. Maybe 40 people. 50. Younger academics. Administrative staff. People who understood what it meant to be undervalued. Someone called out, "You deserved better, Isabel." Another voice, "Good for you." It wasn't universal. The old guard stayed silent. Some people looked uncomfortable, but enough people clapped to be heard, to matter. I didn't acknowledge it, didn't smile or wave, just kept walking. We reached the ballroom exit. I looked back once, at table 18, the folding chair, the empty space where my name card should have been. That table told me everything I needed to know. I didn't belong there. I never did. And that was okay. Daniel's voice was soft. "Are you okay?" "I will be." We walked out of the Belmont Hotel together, into the night, into whatever came next, together. The video went viral in 6 hours. By Monday morning, every major news outlet had picked it up. University president publicly disowns daughter at retirement gala. Teacher vindicated after father's nepotism exposed. CEO husband defends wife with contract clause. My father held a press conference 3 days later, announced his decision to accelerate retirement plans for personal reasons. Translation: the board forced him out. Garrett quietly resigned from the trustee position he'd held for less than 72 hours. He moved to Connecticut. We haven't spoken. EduBridge Foundation's funding was restored under new oversight. Dr. Brennan personally guaranteed compliance with all partnership agreements. Victoria filed for separation 4 months later. She moved to Greenwich. Sends birthday cards I don't open. 3 months after the gala, I launched a new scholarship fund, the Sarah Wheeler Memorial Fund, named for my mother, for the kindergarten teacher in the yellow sundress who never got to see what her daughter became. The mission statement reads, "Supporting the children of educators who dedicate their lives to others, because legacy isn't about prestige, it's about impact." EduBridge Foundation matches all donations. We raised $892,000 in the first year, 83 students funded, all of them children of teachers, nurses, social workers, people who chose service over status. I'm still teaching. Same third-grade classroom, same Title I school, same $52,000 a year. The first scholarship recipient sent me a thank you note. My mom's a teacher too. She cried when I told her about the scholarship. "Thank you for seeing us." I keep that note on my desk, next to the photo of my mother. My students don't know about the viral video. They're 8 years old. They know I teach reading and fractions and how to be kind. One day, a parent mentions it, shows their phone to another parent at pickup. A student overhears. The next morning, a little girl raises her hand. "Ms. Wheeler, did you used to be poor?" I smile. "No, sweetie, I used to think I wasn't enough. I was wrong." That afternoon, Daniel brings lunch to my classroom. The students adore him, call him Mr. Chen who sends emails. He sits in a tiny chair, eating a sandwich, helping a student with multiplication. This is my life now. Small, simple. Exactly what my father dismissed. And it's enough. 5 months after the gala, my father sends an email. "Isabel, I'd like to talk. Please." I don't answer for 3 days. When I do, my response is one sentence. "I'll meet you on one condition. You bring a photo of my mother and you say her name out loud. If you can do that, we can talk." He agrees. We meet at a coffee shop. Neutral ground. Public. He brings the photo, the one from the playground, Sarah in the yellow sundress, me in overalls. His hands shake holding it. Her name was Sarah, he says. His voice cracks. Sarah Catherine Wheeler. It's the first time I've heard him say her name in 26 years. We talk for 40 minutes. He apologizes, tries to explain, says things like grief and mistakes, and I was wrong. I listen. Don't interrupt. Don't accept. Just listen. When he's done, I speak. I don't need you to make me proud, Dad. I needed you to see me. You never did. I'm sorry. I know. But sorry doesn't erase 26 years. He nods, wipes his eyes. We can try, I say. Slowly. Coffee once a month. Maybe. But I'm not your second chance. I'm not your redemption story. I'm just me. Okay? And if you ever make my worth conditional again, I'm done. Permanently. I understand. We finish our coffee in silence. I leave first. On my terms. He stays. Maybe we'll try again next month. Maybe not. But I don't need him anymore. And that makes all the difference. That evening, I'm home with Daniel, making dinner, laughing about something stupid, normal life, regular life. The photo of my mother sits on the mantel now. I brought it out of storage after the gala. It belongs in the light. Daniel passes behind me, kisses my temple. How do you feel? Light, I say. Like I finally put down something I was never supposed to carry. We eat dinner, watch a movie, go to bed early because I have parent-teacher conferences in the morning. I teach 24 third graders. I have a husband who sees me. I built something that matters, and I don't need anyone's permission to call that enough. Legacy isn't about prestige, it's about impact. And you don't need someone else's approval to know your life matters.